Hello and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be looking at a very fun and flexible core in Alolan Ninetales and Swampert, both of them being Shadow. They're both very fast, very frail, and they're very good at flipping matchups with a bit of energy or a shield advantage, so they just create some very fun, fast, and exciting battles to watch and play. Water types can cause some issues for this core, and also because I'm leading Ninetales, I want some more coverage to steal in the back, which is why I'm paired it with Trevenant. I think you can pair it with a lot of different things, but I think this is a good team. Not only is this team a lot of fun to use, but I also went 10-5 with it against some very strong opponents, so I think it's actually really strong too. Going into the first game, we lead into a core breaker I really was not expecting to see. Shadow, Alolan, and Sandslash. So I immediately swap into Swampert, and we're met with a Trevenant. Yikes. So yikes. We go for a Hydro Cannon, and I'm thinking I need to pull out something. So I assume they're gonna want to keep Switch, because they don't know I have a Trevenant in the back. They really want their Alolan Sandslash on my Ninetales. So I think I can get them down to like 0 shields by also spending 2 shields myself. And then I might be able to land a nuke on that Alolan Sandslash somehow. I think I have to try and play it very tricky at this point. So I go for another Hydro Cannon, spend the last shield. I just pray that they spend the last shield too, because otherwise I just lose. But they do. So I swap in Trevenant and see maybe I can get to a move on this Alolan Sandslash. I also save my Swampert in the back, and I might be able to get to a move on that too. They get to the Ice Punch. It almost takes out Trevenant. Get to a Seed Bomb. I really was hoping that I could somehow get to a Shadow Ball, but this is really rough. But we saved the Swampert, and I just have to pray that the Swampert can take out the Alolan Sandslash. And it can. We get to a Hydro Cannon, and at this point we've actually put ourselves in the situation where the Ninetales is up against the Trevenant with a bit of energy, and something in the back that might be weak to it, but if it was weak to Ninetales, we might have had a shot, but it's a Pelipper, and this is a very neutral matchup, so yeah, this was just a very tough team to come up against. Of course, I wasn't expecting to see a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and you shouldn't be expecting to see a lot of it either. But next game, we lead into a Registeel. Also, yikes. They insta-swap into a Sableye, and what? I swap in my Swampert, obviously, because it's such a bad matchup for me. Go for a Hydro Cannon. They shield it, and I also decide to shield their Foul Play. Go up all the way to the Earthquake, and I bait with a Hydro Cannon. I also threw the first Hydro Cannon because I thought our fast moves were out of sync, which wasn't actually the case. But at this point, I'm thinking they're 5 Shadow Claws away from their move. I think I can farm them down, get Switch, come out with a lot of energy, and this is actually a very good spot. But then they bring in a Trevenant, and I have to make a quick decision. So I choose to go for the Earthquake. I could have reached 2 Hydro Cannons, but I had to make a very quick decision. So I went for the Earthquake. And they get to a Shadow Ball on Alolan Ninetales. But we have Switch advantage now, meaning I can bring my Trevenant onto the Registeel. Being down shields though, it's not ideal. I think they're just always gonna shield this move, because they want to debuff me before taking a move, so I go for the bait. And we get the shield. And they throw immediately. And it's always 16 turns for Zap Cannon, so I go up and CMP tie them at this point just to, I guess, show dominance, really show that I can, because I'm not going to get to 2 moves anyways. So we throw the Shadow Ball. It does quite a lot. Ninetales is Shadow. Can we actually somehow take out this Registeel? I decide to go for the Weather Ball because the Log-Ons are still going to do quite a bit. I'm not going to get to a Dazzling Gleam, I don't think. The Weather Ball is not enough. Can we Powder Snow it? No, we get Log-On down. We almost take it out. Very close. Next game, we lead into a Lickitung. According to the Sims, Alolan Ninetales wins this in the 1 shields, but I just don't think that's the case. I would rather play it like this. I think Lickitung is just never gonna shield the first move from a Shadow Alolan Ninetales, or like from anything really. So I go for the Dazzling Gleam, and the Lickitung goes up. It throws immediately, and it takes 12 turns for the first 2 Body Slams, but 11 turns to the third one. So I throw 5 Mud Shots, and then I catch the Body Slam on my Trevenant. and they stay in. And then they quit. I think they were very, very weak to Trevenant in the back. Next game, we lead into Galarian Stunfisk. This is not a good matchup, but Alolan Ninetales does have play. I like to try and catch a Rock Slide on Swampert, so I go one over the Rock Slide and then try to catch it. And, well, they don't fall for it, so they bring in a Pelipper. We throw one Hydro Cannon. It actually does quite a lot. You would think this is a really bad matchup for Swampert. It is a bad matchup. They have to go for a Hydro Cannon in order to take me out here, otherwise I get to another Hydro Cannon, and they do go for the Hydro Cannon. Great recognition by my opponent. So they're 4 wing attacks away from the Weather Ball. It takes 4 after you've thrown one move, 5 for the first one. So I throw 3 more Powder Snows, go for the Weather Ball. They bring in Stunfisk, throw immediately, so they're at 2 Mudshot at this point, because they were at 7 before. I go up, throw a Weather Ball. And these do add up on the Stunfisk if you throw enough of them, as you can see. They throw their Rock Slide. I thought that they waited a turn when they threw this, so I assume they're gonna wait a turn for the next one, which is why I play it the way that I do. They're at a Rock Slide now, so I think they're gonna wait a turn before throwing to like throw in the middle of my fast move. So I also wait a turn to try and catch, but then they don't wait a turn, they just throw it, and they take out Ninetales. This is very bad. They have to be very weak to Trevenant in the back, and they are. It's an Azumarill. But the Stunfisk did 1 Mudshot before leaving, so it's 4 away from getting to a Rock Slide, which will be lethal after I take this Ice Beam. So I have to come out with like being 3 Shadow Claws away from getting to back Seed Bombs. I can't go up to the CMP tag because then they're just gonna shield it and get the Ice Beam off. So I throw this, and I'm 5 Shadow Claws away, so I need to undercharge it. And I get 2 more Shadow Claws in. Perfect undercharge. We get to the back Seed Bomb, throw the first one on Stunfisk. We grab the shield, throw the second one on CMP. Is this enough? It is. We take out the Stunfisk. Unbelievable game. I was out of my chair after that game. Next game, we lead into a Sableye. And this is actually not all that good of a matchup for Alolan Ninetales. It's pretty even, because the Shadow Claws just do so much. I decided to shield the first one. I kind of have to, because otherwise they would, like if they threw the return, they would take me out. The foul play also does quite a bit after all the Shadow Claw damage. I decided to go for back-to-back Weather Ball to see how much this does. And it puts Sableye in farm range, so I'm thinking I can shield this and farm them down, come out with a lot of energy. And then they bring in a Lanturn. And I'm thinking there might be a Noctowl in the back, so I really want to lure that out. That's also one of the reasons I'm playing it like this, with Shadow Swampert as the safe swamp. It's good at luring out the Noctowl often. I go up to the CMP tie, throw the Hydro Cannon, because I think they're going to shield since they're staying in. And also, I don't want to leave myself in a position where they can undercharge this serve and then like come out with a lot of energy. They take out Swampert. I wait out my switch timer completely to bring in Trevenant. And they do have Noctowl in the back. So I go for the Seed Bomb just to get up my switch timer, hoping that it will come up. It does. And I have almost 2 moves stored. They were 2 wing attacks away, so I know that I can get both of these off. If I could only get off 1, I would have gone for the CMP. But because I can get off 2, I go for the CMP on the second one. And I undercharge it a little bit just because it's a CMP. But yeah, we still take it out. I didn't want to risk leaving it with enough HP so that it would be a threat to my Trevenant. So yeah. Now the Lanturn gets quite a bit of farm, and we don't have any energy. But we also have a lot of HP. Gets what, 1 Thunderbolt. And if it gets to another one, it can take us out. Almost, but we get to the Seed Bomb. Trevenant is just such a hard counter to Lanturn. We take it out. Good game. Next game, we lead into another Galarian Stunfisk. And same procedure. I think no one really like throws immediately, so I go 1 over to try and catch. And I'm pretty sure this is an Earthquake, but also they're leading a Galarian Stunfisk, so they're just not going to be weak to Swampert in the back. And we lure out the Noctowl, which is huge. It does 5 wing attacks, so it's 1 wing attack away from the Sky attack. So I go up, throw 1 more Powder Snow, then go for the Weather Ball. I could have maybe taken the Sky attack and farmed up a lot more energy, but I decided to throw it immediately. And then they bring in a Lanturn. And I'm thinking, yeah, Trevenant is gonna be the Pokemon that's gonna sweep this game for me. So I'm not gonna shield my Ninetales. But my switch timer is almost up, so I swap out as it comes up and I catch a move. I'd like to say this was like really high skill catch, but I was just lucky, really. They stay and throw 1 more Spark, then they bring in Stunfisk. And I'm thinking they should know that Stunfisk is their win condition now, because Lanturn is just not going to do anything against Trevenant. So they're going to shield, but they don't. That was why I baited, but yeah. Go up. Shield the Rock Slide is going to be the moves that's going to do the most damage to Trevenant from now on. So I want to shield those. I go for another Seed Bump on CMP. And I realize I'm not going to be able to farm it down from its range. So I want to get in my Ninetales. I farm up to a Seed Bump, then I throw 1 more Shadow Claw. I shouldn't have thrown that Shadow Claw, because now they get to outpace me to a Rock Slide. If I didn't throw 1 more Shadow Claw, I could have gotten to the Weather Ball before they got to a move. But now we still get off this Weather Ball on Lanturn, and the Lanturn is so low it has to shield, and we have a Seed Bomb loaded in the back, so this game should be in the back. Trevenant should be able to win it, but Alolan Ninetales just says, no, Trevenant is not going to win this game for you. I'm actually going to take this game for you. And it takes out both the remaining 2 Pokemon. Next game we lead into a Shadow Gliscor. Yes, that's a very good lead, and they're staying in. And then they swap in a Walrein. And I wasn't really all that prepared for a Walrein save swap, because it's been a while since people have used it. So I swap in my Trevenant, which is very debatable. They go up to 1 Icicle Spear, and I think I can live this kind of comfortably, but I can't really. I do have 2 answers to Gliscor, especially when I'm up shields, so it should be okay. I get off my Shadow Ball. It does more damage if you only get off 1 move. So I think I can farm this down with Swampert before it gets to 2 Icicle Spears, but I just about can't. I want to shield the first one just in case they go Earthquake. And then I let the second one go. And I'm thinking the Gliscor farmed up to a Night Slash, and Shadow the Night Slash is going to do a lot. So I want to throw my Hydro Cannon immediately if the Gliscor comes in, because Swampert wins CMP. So that's what I go for. We take out the Gliscor, and they bring in a Medicham. I load up to Hydro Cannon, and I just leave it there. And I'm thinking if I can just put it in Hydro Cannon range and take the shield, I should be pretty good. And Weather Balls do quite a lot. So I go for the Weather Balls. I think I can get 2, and that should be able to grab the shield, because look how much damage it does. So if they don't shield this, I should be able to farm them down. So yeah, we grab the shield, and again I have the Hydro Cannon loaded. But once again, Ninetales just being like, no, Swampert is not going to take this game. I'm going to live on 1 HP once again and win this game for you. Next game, final game I think. We lead into a Noctowl. Very good lead. And once again, they stay in. I should have stayed in longer with my Alolan Ninetales to get some more energy, because Trevenant can win this down even more energy, and the energy would have been very valuable on my Alolan Ninetales, because the Noctowl is going to get a big farm on my Trevenant now, because I have to take it out. Otherwise I have to spend a shield, and I really do not want to do that, and I want to keep alignment too. So I have to take the Medicham out before it gets to another move. And now I leave my Trevenant with a lot of health. And I can't really threaten the Noctowl. So it gets up to 8 wing attacks, including the 2 it had before, which is not ideal. Bring in my Ninetales, they throw immediately. Now there are 2 wing attacks. And then they bring in a Lanturn. So I swap in Swampert. And this is a very interesting matchup. I'm gonna explain my thought process in the end screen too. This is not a bait, actually. It might look like I'm baiting, but I'm gonna explain why this is actually a very comfortable matchup for Swampert, and why like you can't just go straight Hydro Cannon in the end screen. Go up, and I go for another Hydro Cannon. And they shield again. And I could go either way because it isn't Dazzling Gleam range, but I decide to shield. And at this point, of course, they're gonna try to catch my Earthquake. Like, it's just obvious. So I swap in my Ninetales. I should have done one more Powder Snow because I knew it was 4 away from the Sky Attack, but yeah, this is also fine. The Noctowl undercharges the Sky Attack to leave me in farm range for the Lantern, but that just allows me to put it in Hydro Cannon range. And I wasn't like 110% sure I had the Earthquake, so I just go for the Hydro Cannon on CMP. And we take out the Lantern. And that actually brings us all the way up to 26-12 elo with this team. It was very good, this team. That was the last battle for today, and I am absolutely in love with this team. I would say that I chose to go with Trevenant as my third option, and I would probably suggest going for like a bit more of a bulky option because all three of these were quite squishy and there weren't quite enough shields all the time. So maybe like an Umbreon or something, try and implement a bit more of a bulky option with this core. Fun fact of the day, as I was talking about that last game, Shadow Swampert beats Spark Lantern in the 1 and 2 shields straight Hydro Cannon. You don't actually need to land the Earthquake. It is a bit iffy if you have a very good Shadow Swampert and you're up against a very good Spark Lantern in the 1 shield, because the second Hydro Cannon might barely not KO, but in the 2 shields, it is safe to just go straight Hydro Cannon as long as the Lantern doesn't have too much energy. Other than that, thank you for watching. If you enjoy these types of videos and you want to see more, you can right here, or you can just subscribe to the channel. There are plenty more coming, and hope to see you next time.